Okay, I'm going to be doing my second From video, and I'm going to talk about the video we watched about drug addiction. I think it's a Charlie Rose video. Basically, I found it really interesting because I don't know about other people, but I think people generally kind of feel this. They kind of have a feeling of invincibility, where with drugs, you kind of have this idea where others get addicted, but I know myself and I won't let myself get to that point of addiction, so there's no harm in trying it. I feel like a lot of people have that attitude. I know that I did before I watched this video. And what people don't often understand is that drug addiction is actually a disease. It's not something you can control. Your free will is kind of gone. And because the drug takes over the part of your brain which helps you make decisions, and that's why you see drug addicts struggling so much for such a long time, and that's why 70% of drug addicts relapse. And it was saying how your dopamine levels rise when you take drugs, which help you feel good. And even let's say you get off the drug, when you see something that reminds you of the drug, like the needle or the area that you bought them or the person you bought them from, that increases the dopamine level again, which makes you feel good, which makes you really want that drug that much more. So that's why it's so difficult to stay clean even after, weeks, months, years. And, you see drug addicts who are losing their job, they're losing their family, everything's going down the drain, and yet they still can't get off the drug. And that's a perfect way of showing how much it's just really not it doesn't show weakness in character, other than the fact that maybe your initial decision to try the drug, the actual addiction to the drug does not show weakness in character. It's actually a disease, and that's what people need to understand. That's why, knowing information like this is really useful. It makes you better equipped for making the decision whether you want to try that drug even just once, or whether, you want to just stay back and not take the risk of falling into the trap, because a lot of people say the whole, like, just try it once, just experiment, you're at that age. It's really important for teenagers to understand that it's not always that easy to just back away from the drug once you've tried it. And also, I learned that 50% of drug addiction is genetic, which is also really dangerous if you have a family member that was addicted to drugs. So there are just so many reasons why it's useful to know, as much information about drugs as possible before you get involved with them, if you want to get involved with them, which I would hope you don't want to. But they gave a good example of the rats where they did some sort of shock to a part of their brain that the drug controls when you take drugs, and it makes you feel good. And basically, they would pull a lever or something to get that shock. And the rats, after the experiment, they would pull the lever over and over and over just to get that shock. And they would pull it so many times that they would not eat, they wouldn't sleep, they wouldn't do anything, to the point where they died. So they actually pleasured themselves to death, which shows the true power of a drug and what it can do to you and how it can completely take over your life. And yeah, so I just thought this was a really informative video, and it really taught me a lot, and it opened my eyes to some things that I really wasn't aware of before. I think it's a useful video for a lot of people to watch.